especially during games? It seems like you guys communicate a lot.
Yeah, it's been great working with Josh. Ever since he got here, I think he's seen pretty much every offense in the book. He's been around for a while, so he gets it. He gets the dynamic of playing quarterback in this league, of being a backup, of just being an extra set of eyes and ears on the sideline and everything. So working with him has been a lot of fun.
Doug addressed some of the things that you're better at this year than last year versus the year before. Where have you seen the greatest, I guess, growth and improvement in your efficiency and execution?
I think just every year, mentally, pre-snap especially, I think I've just, understand the offense more and more, and just, being able to process things quicker, I think is something that I feel like every single year has improved. And I'm definitely not there, or have I arrived by any means, but I do feel more confident going forward every single week in that area.
Mechanically as well, I mean, is your footwork better? Do you feel like you're completing passes a little bit more efficiently than you did a year ago?
It's hard to say. I've always felt pretty good mechanically. You're going to have lapses, breakdowns here and there mechanically and different things. But I've felt good since I came into the league, and I feel where I'm at right now is in a good place.
In talking to press the other day, he mentioned how he likes your check downs on first and second down play actions. Is that hard for you to do, the check down? Like, do you want to go downfield?
I would say probably earlier in my career it was. It was something that, you just, the aggressiveness inside of me. But over the years, I think it's something you just learn within this league, and you see that, you can get 5 on first down and you're in a good spot, and you don't always have to force a shot down the field, take it when it's there type of thing. And that's something that I think till the day I'm done playing, like, I'm going to always be walking that battle of when to be aggressive and when to take the check down. But I feel like I'm in a good place with that.
Carson, when you have so many injuries to your secondary, do you feel like at all there's any extra pressure for you in the offense? Hey, we have to put up more points because our defense is banged up.
Yeah, we don't really, worry about that. As an offense, we trust that the defense is going to take care of their business, and, they trust that we're going to do the same. So for us, it's, we want to score on every possession. We want to end every possession in the end zone. That's obviously our goal, and so we're going to go forth no matter who we're playing, no matter who the offense is on the other side, with that expectation in mind.
When you were backed up in the fourth quarter of the Green Bay game on the goal line, near the goal line, you guys ran the same 3 plays, but Doug said you obviously had alerts and you could check the different things. What made you stick with those same 3 runs?
Yeah, those are pretty straight up play calls. Coach made a great call, and I love that he was willing to come back to it. The O-line was moving guys up front, and they were asking for it, they were calling for it, and we just trusted those guys, and that was a huge drive. Obviously we didn't finish in the end zone, but to get out and to really get some room from our own end zone was huge for us.
To be able to win a game with more rushing yards than passing yards, and to show that you can be that kind of offense, how much tougher do you think it makes you guys to defend, to be able to win a game that way?
It's huge for us. I think it's huge for us offensively. It's huge for us as far as teams having to prepare for us, knowing that, we have a couple different backs that can beat you in different ways. Our backs can win out of the backfield too, and then, we know we have playmakers in the passing game as well. So, I think that makes it tough to prepare for us, and we just got to dial in what we do and really focus in. But I feel like that's definitely a huge plus for us.
On those 3 plays, you said that they were kind of calling for it. You mean the O-line, they were kind of calling for?
They were moving guys. They were moving guys late in that game, and they were, when they get going, they love it and they want to run the ball. So that drive, they were pretty amped up to run the ball.
Carson, we keep talking about wanting to get off to a faster offensive start. You guys want to get off to a faster offensive start. With the run game kind of developing a little bit more, do you feel like you guys can get off to that start this Sunday?
Yeah, I think, we have the expectation every Sunday, Thursday, Monday, whenever it is, to come out with a fast start. And some games it doesn't go that way. And, last game it didn't. But, it's something that early on we always want to see what defenses are going to do to us and stay on the field and make plays. And I feel confident that we can do that.
Getting back to Ruben's question here, when you guys are able to run and pass, does it take A, pressure off of you, and B, does that also help on third downs, like if it's third and short, manageable, I guess, situations?
Yeah, the run game, without a doubt, takes pressure off me. It takes pressure off the whole offense, and I think it really opens up some things. We can, do some play action, some naked rollouts, different things off of the run game, because that's effective. So I think it opens up a lot of things for us offensively and makes us a much better and more dynamic offense. And then, like you said, if you can stay ahead of the chains and be in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 versus 3rd and 8 and 9, 3rd and 10, it makes a heck of a lot of difference with the play calls, and it really helps the offense stay on the field.
Carson, what made you guys so good on 3rd down, in your opinion, so far?
I think it's just been a lot of, off-season hard work just in looking at what we do best and doing what we do best and, making adjustments at the line and just getting to the line early. We've done that a handful of times and just, making plays. At the end of the day, it comes down to guys making plays, O-line giving me time, or we've been fortunate enough to convert on the ground a couple times. And so guys just making plays and stepping up, and hopefully we can continue that.
Carson, has Jordan Howard impressed you with his pass catching or surprised you at all with his pass catching?
Not really, just because, when he came in here in the spring, I was impressed. I knew he was a downhill kind of physical runner, but I didn't know what to expect out of the backfield. But right away when he came in here in the spring, I knew we could use him out of the backfield some, and he's exceptional in pass protection as well. So to be able to have him out there in a variety of different sets, I felt confident with him ever since he got here.
Carson, your third and longs, your completions, they're averaging I think it's 17 yards in those plays. What do you attribute that to? Because they kind of know you're going to pass, right?
Yeah, like I said, it just comes down to guys making plays. Getting in the right calls, coach. Putting together an incredible game plan for those situations to put our guys in the best spots to succeed. It comes down to the O-line protecting, giving me time, and all of that. So at the end of the day, we're just executing at a high level on third downs, and I think we can even be better.
Carson, what about being the oldest quarterback, starting quarterback now in the division?
It is what it is. It is what it is.
When you look at what happened, some of the quarterbacks this weekend, I think, getting hit, Josh Allen, he was trying to go forward and get some extra yards. Does that kind of make you pause, make you think of what you're doing, or just?
For sure, a little bit. You never want to see injuries like that happen or guys get their bell rung. And, I've been learning ever since I came in the league how to protect myself, when to get down, all of those things. So I feel like that's something that when you see it around the league, you don't like seeing that, but you definitely take note of it.
On Sunday, did you spend that watching football? And if so, what did you learn about what's going on elsewhere in the league?
Watched a little bit. Honestly, I got a lot of time with my wife, just relaxed this weekend. So it was really good. But I realized this NFL it's just wide open. It's wide open. Anyone can beat anyone any Sunday. So a lot of good teams out there, and we just got to keep staying the course.
You mentioned about how aggressive the runs Jets defense versus the run is, and so what are you seeing about that? What kind of challenge will the run game have against them, or for that matter, the passing game as well?
Yeah, they do some good things up front. They got a good front. They fill the gaps pretty quickly. They want to give you a lot of cover 2 looks, but they'll fill pretty quick with the corners or the nickel or give you different looks. So it can create some challenges in the run game. So we can take advantage of that in the passing game as well. And I trust the coaches and the O-line are really going to get this run game going, really versus anybody going forward.
When you get to the line early, can you walk us through your process?
Not too much. I don't want to give away too many trade secrets here, but
How many seconds does it typically give you, and how long can a defense hold off in disguising its coverage?
Yeah, it's all part of the chess game. Sometimes you want to get up there and go fast. Sometimes you want to get up there and see what they're doing and get into the best play call. But like I said, it's all part of the chess game, and it's nice. Coach can kind of give me things in my ear. What to get to, plays to get to, and so far it's been successful for us.
Carson, going into a game knowing that your coach is going to be aggressive on 4th downs and 2-point conversions.
Yeah.
Is there a benefit to that in terms of being a quarterback and executing those plays?
I love it. It doesn't surprise me within a game when coach does that, just because he's been that way ever since I got here. He's never changed. I don't think he ever will change. He'll always stay aggressive. And I think as a quarterback and as an offense, I think that just speaks a lot of confidence into us. I think that he trusts that we're going to get the job done, and we dial up plays, every week for those specific situations. Obviously, we don't make them all, but I think it just instills a lot of confidence in us, and I love it.
Is the number of 2-point plays you guys have, has that increased over the years because of the aggressiveness has also increased?
I don't think so. Every week, you carry a couple, and you always have different plays that are always in your back pocket too.
You talk so much about your understanding of the offense. Is there a facet you look back on that maybe you've come a long way in understanding of this offense?
I wouldn't say one specific thing. It's just being able to process reads quicker and get through things, and getting in and out of good plays and bad plays and all of those things. And like I said, by no means is it a finished product, and it's something that we're trying to develop every single week. But I feel like definitely just processing things has been quicker.
How big was it to get Miles going a little bit in Green Bay, and what did you say to him? Because we heard what Mike Groh was saying about the confidence in him despite his struggles a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Miles is an explosive playmaker, and we know what he can do. And, I even look back to the Green Bay game. His kick return really kind of sparked this offense, and we were struggling early right away. And so down 10-0, he gets us into enemy territory right away. And so just the way he can make plays in the return game, out of the backfield, running the ball. We've had a lot of confidence in him. The fumbles aside, the guy's been a dynamic playmaker for us, and we'll keep using him in different ways.
I know a lot of guys like anything. The previous couple of weeks, just kind of tell him.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, leading up to even week one, just trying to remind him that he's here for a reason. That he was drafted where he was for a reason, and he's a playmaker, and just go do what he does best. And so he's really embraced that role and made the most of it.
I know a lot of guys like to say it's a one-week season, but that Green Bay game on the road, short week, how much do you think that can help this team going forward as you guys are trying to get on a run?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps, spark a lot of confidence in us to be able to go on the road, short week, all those things against us, and to come out with a win, especially the way we did, the way we fought to the end. I thought that was huge for us, and hopefully that can springboard us here into the second quarter of the season. Thank you, guys.
What's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto.
I'm Keith Malashevsky.
And we are War Room Philly. Welcome to the War Room. How's everyone doing out there? Keith, how are you doing?
I am excellent. It's another beautiful day. I feel a lot healthier. Last week I was not here because of illness. I didn't need to share that with you. Some people may even be able to still hear like a
I think I let people know,
Yeah. So I'm feeling a lot better. So I'm happy to be here and to be able to talk sports, especially after a big Eagles victory.
2-2.
Big sports week in general,
Mm-hmm.
as the Flyers will be playing on Friday. So we have that going on. The baseball playoffs have started up. Basketball's right around the corner because the Sixers just started up. Doing some camp.
Real quick, while you brought it up, and I'm just so people know I'm not ignoring you. I'm trying to pull up chat,
which is why I'm kind of rambling through a few things here.
But that game last night, oh man, was that a heartbreaker?
I saw you snapping about that.
Look, if you're the Brewers, you get through Scherzer and Strasburg in the lead, and you lose the game. Yo, if I'm a Brewers fan right now, I'm jumping off the bridge.
I know a Brewers fan. He basically is.
Imagine if that were the Phillies to lose in that fashion. You get three. First off,
the hardest part.
I'm not a fan of rule changes in the MLB.
No.
Big rule change. Max Scherzer and Steven Strasburg should not be able to pitch in the same game. That should be a rule change. That's cheating.
On the good news...
I hate the Nationals, but that's cheating.
On the good news is they just used Strasburg, so now he's... he was supposed to be up next. He's not up next now. He just did, 3 innings?
Yeah, but
3 innings?
Their third pitcher is still filthy. I got to look up their rotation now.
Yeah, I know. Well, the third pitcher is Corbin.
Right, so the
Patrick Corbin.
Name escaped me. Thank you.
So they have talent there. I believe Roark is their 4th or their 5th, and I forget who their other one actually is. Oh, it's Gio, isn't it? Isn't Gio still on the team, I believe? So they have a solid rotation.
There isn't an NL team worth cheering for. Joe, I normally, if the Phillies aren't in it, I like to go towards the AL. I usually root for the A's, who are always good for one guest appearance in the playoffs, and then they're out very soon. But yeah, I do. I like the A's. I'm gonna root for them.
I'm gonna root for my big pick that people told me I was insane for picking at the beginning of the year. The Minnesota Twins.
Mm-hmm.
They're in, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saw that. No, they were doing well, and you know what? Listen, I picked them to be in, and I want them to. I mean, unfortunately, you have the juggernaut Yankees that you have to deal with. So it's going to be rough to see anybody else out of the AL just because they are that good. I mean, obviously, it's probably going to be Yankees and Astros that end up playing for the ALCS.
Keith, if I give you Astros or the field, who do you take?
I take the Astros.
Yeah.
Yeah, Astros.
Like, that's probably a good bet too.
I'll bet.
I'll
You
take,
see the guy who
I'll
bet
take the field.
3.5
Just while
million?
I'm writing things down. Yeah, I did, and that's what inspired me to bring this
Bring
up,
that
which
up.
is funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and explain this. I was a bad co-host there. I should have said, no, Keith. Go. What can you tell me?
For those who didn't see it,
That's
there was a
by
guy-
the way a pro tip. You're supposed to act stupid. Like I'm outing myself there.
he's naturally stupid most of the
I
time.
know.
but not
Yeah,
this time.
I put my smart shoes on, and So, but what I should have done there, Keith, was go. No, Keith. What about this guy that bet an absurd amount of money on?
He came in to I forget which casino. The name escapes me at this point, but $3.5 million for the Astros to win it all. To win it all. I mean, first of all, who has $3.5 million just laying around who's not a professional athlete or an entertainer?
Yeah.
Like.
Let's turn the page. It's Nats facing the Dodgers in the NLDS. If
What
any
do you
team
guys
can
want
beat,
to talk about? No,
but
one day I'll learn
that's huge.
not to open up CBS pages
Or just to right-click the top thing and do the mute.
There's a thing?
Yeah, you can right-click the tab at the top, and I believe you can mute it that way by muting the page. Just hit on the actual tab. Yeah, you just right-click that bad boy.
How about that? I fancy myself to be pretty savvy. How do I go through life?
You know who I learned that
30
from?
years and not know that?
Do you know who I learned that from? One Ben Woodring from Radio Bucks. When I was hosting breakfast at Bucks, he was like, "You know, this is a good way to not have that happen. That would be it." And yes, Joe, you did correctly predict the Cardinals.
As
we
did
got in an
I.
argument because I said the Cardinals would miss the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I also took the Cardinals. I was with you, Joe. I remember that conversation. You led a lot of that.
I took Cubs and Brewers.
But yeah, Keith, is it me or is our chat smaller? On like, am my eyes going, or is it like the font smaller?
I prefer font size. But yes, it is smaller.
Okay. But,
no,
I'm gonna have to figure that. Maybe I can
we'll have to do that. But you know, baseball playoffs are always a good time. It's nice to be able to look at it.
See, I can still think of things on the fly, Keith. No, but I'm sorry. I
You
digress.
redeemed yourself. But yeah, it is a good time of year to be watching the playoffs. I will take anybody in the AL except for the Yankees over anybody in the NL because I just don't really like them, especially because there are no Phillies in
But yeah,
the playoffs.
here's a picture of the bracket for Keith and I. But yeah, I'll take the field just so we got some predictions coming down tonight. It's the start of hockey, so we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk Flyers. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk hockey in general. We're gonna talk a lot of things. But yeah, thank you for leading off the show. By the way, it was great. You took over the host.
I just want to say one thing real quick.
That was very clutch, by the way. That was the utility, and that was a kingery move right there. You're just like, I'll fill in while I was like trying to. I was so focused on playing the video to give us some time that I forgot to like set up the show.
You know, that's why we got the dynamic duo going.
I'm the most prepared. We're the most prepared streamers on Twitch. I'll stand by that every week.
That might actually be true. But real quick, because I didn't get to say my piece about this last week, and I know you did say something. I'm shocked that Kapler is still the manager of this team currently.
That's part of our title, which is funny because you have no idea what our title is. Because
you did it.
Yeah, we did it on the fly. Yeah. We ran the Chip Kelly offense, which means we did it poorly. By the way, that's not a.
Like, I'm shocked that he's still in this organization, and everybody out there knows that I am possibly even borderline a Kapler apologist.
I think both of us have been very fair.
I would like to think so. I think that we've been very forgiving of him and critical, but being like, oh, well, you know, he hasn't had this, you know, that's been off. Yeah, but how, Anthony?
Here's one thing. There's a potential that we're getting more. And if it could be a clean sweep. But like you, I tuned into sports radio yesterday. I don't know if you tuned in, but like you, yesterday, I was anxiously awaiting. Today, I was a little more anxiously awaiting. Now, there's chitter chatter here and there that why the delay is because it might not just be Gabe.
Maybe waiting for one of those teams that is in the playoffs to jettison somebody or pass through the playoffs and be able to cherry pick.
I hadn't thought about that also, but I think that McPhail is, or not McPhail, Middleton is considering guys like McPhail, guys like Klentak, which is surprising to me. Personally, I thought that only Gabe would be fired. As a fan, if you tell me we're also gonna have Klentak and McPhail go, I'm happy with that.
I had to look up his name real quick because it escaped my mind. Dave Dombrowski from the Red Sox, who was fired this year, architect of their last World Series only a year ago, sitting out there on the market.
Yeah, and Middleton is in the Massachusetts area today, just for whatever it's worth. It was a business meeting, but maybe it was more than a business. Maybe this is business too.
Maybe that's business.
It's supposedly something else, though.
But
I'm not trying to get anybody else.
He's out there. I know everybody's gonna like this when I say this. I'm hoping Joe Girardi is at least a thought on their minds. Another good manager, an experienced manager, because I think you have to go the experienced manager route the next time around. You can't go unknown. I don't feel that it's going to sit well in a clubhouse that's had trouble being disciplined. I think you need somebody who brings that je ne sais quoi. You know, that's something, that attitude, that repertoire, whatever word you want to use, the certain skill set that you need to garner respect from your players and make sure they hustle, much like maybe a Gene Segura could use that little kick in the butt.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Fohammer in chat. You're right, it has been something like 13 Overwatch seasons, which, by the way, I'm rocking the Overwatch shirt.
Because you were there.
I was there Sunday at the Grand Finals. But yeah, Tony, it has been maybe the only person that can compare to Poco's Diva Bombs is Fohammer in chat right now.
All right.
But yeah, that was real quick. If I can,
no, absolutely.
I saw OW in chat. Like, was the first, and I was like, is someone? I was like, but yeah, I was there on Sunday. And how about this? How about being from Philadelphia, being 19, and just winning your share of $100+ or $1 million+ dollars? Because that's what happened to Super on Sunday. Yeah, so the San Francisco Shock won. The team that had more Americans, one of them again being from Philadelphia, which is pretty damn awesome. Sure, he was a backup and he didn't play at all, but hey, he still clears that bonus check, and he still held that trophy. And there were a few times where that building organically erupted, and it felt like it was a Flyers goal. It felt like it was a Sixers 3. Like, I have been in the Wells Fargo for many a sporting event, and it got just as loud. I'm not talking playoff game loud.
No. Just,
but for a game that was just San Francisco versus Vancouver, it was a totally mutual thing. Crowd was very heavy on San Francisco's side because Vancouver is not only the Canadian geolocation, it's all Korean. Like, all 12 of their players are Korean, whereas the
San Fran has some American players.
Had 4 Americans, had speed.
Is that the one that had the Philadelphia native on their team?
Yeah. He was a backup player, but yeah, he's on the team.
Yeah, so a little connection there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know, so that I can get that, and you know what? I think Philadelphia as a whole was just genuinely enthusiastic.
Yeah.
So if there are Philadelphians there, which some probably were there, being that easy of a travel.
Several Philadelphia. Yeah, like there was a majority were probably Philadelphians. But yeah, there was a guy next to us from Australia. There were people behind us from San Francisco.
The esports community does travel.
Yeah.
It
was there were certainly people from all over the world, which was cool.
It is cool. It's a nice little melting pot.
It was a cool little week for like the esports community, specifically in Philadelphia. And you know what's cool? Real quick, I'll wrap it up and then we'll get back into real sports. The Overwatch League Finals, unlike like the World Series is kind of like the All-Star game is the celebration of baseball. For the Overwatch League, it's kind of like the event becomes there's cosplay, there's all kinds of stuff, and it's just like the event becomes like a celebration of the game.
It does, actually.
And then there's the two best teams are playing, which was cool. And that's I just want to wrap that up.
It's a nice thought.
It was like I said, it was really fun. I had I had really good seats.
They're gonna have that purpose-built stadium.
Yeah, I cannot wait. We're gonna get a few events at the Met, which is gonna be cool. One in February, one in June, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. The June could be. There's one in Atlantic City as well. So there's gonna be 3 total events that the Fusion hosts next season, and then the season after that, we will get full-time home games in Philadelphia. A brand new event arena, which will hold many more events than just the Fusion. You'll be seeing local artists being able to play on a world-class stage. It's gonna be cool. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's big for the city of Philadelphia. You don't have to like esports to be excited for your city to take in money, because it just means maybe we'll get some potholes fixed, maybe. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
But I digress. But yeah, Tony, like you said, 13. It has been many an Overwatch season. But getting back to it, we'll stick to Gabe. Should we stick to the Phillies? Then we'll go into the hockey.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
finish with the Eagles.
Because I kind of spouted out how I felt about that a little bit.
So
and who I was thinking.
Yeah, and now let's get it back. If we can. I think I'm okay with everyone being fired. Let me start off with that.
I'm good with that too.
I think Gabe certainly deserves it. Yes, he has had several legitimate excuses. That all being pushed to the side. If you watch enough games, you can kind of feel, does this guy have a sense for the game, or is he only buried in analytics? To me, he was so focused on analytics that he would lose sight of the game. It would be like, he would have a pitch count clocker in his head, and instead of judging how the pitcher looks, it was, he's at his number, we got to take him out. It was Rhys Hoskins batting in the 1 hole. It was Bamboo Brad batting in the 4 hole. It was, let's say you think the Phillies are still in it. Mathematically, they were still in it. Aaron Nola should be pitching game 1 of the doubleheader, not game 2. If you're playing every game like you genuinely want to win, or like you genuinely need to win, or you can think forward enough that, well, just because his spot's up now, I gotta pitch him, and Nola is still gonna go down as if it's the 5th day. He doesn't know how to think about, outside of the book. It's not even outside of the box. It's not analytics' fault. It's the user, It's like saying when you get a world-class recipe and someone messes it up, blaming the recipe. It's just it's the cook.
And I would like to say that I'm genuinely a very optimistic person. This is not just something I put on for the show. Everybody knows that I kind of get a little bit homerish at times. It's not because I like my home teams that much. I'm optimistic.
Yeah. I can vouch for that. Keith is very positive to the point where I try to be negative around him to bring him down.
Yeah, even things out,
Yeah, it's like that scene in Parks and Rec. I guess in this case you're Andy and I'm April, and I throw a pen at you as well.
I probably deserved it at some point.
But yeah, I got awkward. But yeah, no. Go ahead.
But yeah, like I said, I'm a very positive person.
Sean Rodriguez playing it all, let alone every day. Sorry, I saw Joe's comment. That was a killer
It's
comment.
very fine. But Gabe, was sickeningly so. Those press conferences, I'm like, dude, really? You're gonna go and be like, well, they really hustled out there. No.
Yeah,
no,
and you know what? It's
you see, players not hustling down the line. You see players doing that it's not their fault, but it is their fault. There was an injury that occurred because there was no hustling.
I'll let it stay for the.
That's what I said.
It sounds good in the argument. Let's not let it go.
That's why I said it's not the fault, but it is the fault.
Yeah, no.
One time, I'll excuse it. The fact that the whole year Gene Segura did that type of play, had that type of attitude, continued on after that, that's an issue. That's a huge issue, and that goes back to the clubhouse and the manager not taking care of what they should be doing. I mean, I know I'm getting on him right here.
No, do it.
I know I am.
It's the show to get on him.
But I can't.
It's potentially your last chance to get on him.
It's true.
Hopefully.
I can't abide by that. Like, I just can't have that kind of attitude because, you know what? Doug's a positive guy. Doug Peterson is a positive coach. He likes to go and say, hey, look, we did this well, we did that well.
Analytics, too.
Absolutely. He brings in his analytics. But guess what? He's called himself into question this year. He goes, I got to find the right place. We got to find the right place here. Or what's the famous quote that we always hear, you know? Is it to get your head out your ass? Is that what it is that they always do the drop on?
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
When you said famous quote, all that triggered in my brain was, I'm going to do a better job. I can't do Andy Reid off the top anymore. Got to do a better job. Just going to do it in my own voice. I haven't like listened to I haven't heard his voice in so long. That's good though.
It is good. It is.
But yeah, I digress.
Yeah. But so you have those positive situations and coaches who can bring positives out, but they still know how to call their players out. They still know how to say, hey, look, we didn't do what we were supposed to do, and we got to get better at that. I mean, as sickening as Andy Reid was with that quote, which I'm glad that you said it, he still was willing to say they didn't do their job. So that just needs to change. And I go back to this. Matt Klentak, everybody goes, well, he brought in all of these players that made our lineup better. You got to give him credit for that. But at the same time...
I say that. That was me. He was impersonating me there.
I was impersonating a lot of Philadelphia.
No, but to your credit, I'm one of those people. I think I sort of defend Klentak, although I do. I'd be happy if he gets fired.
Because let's look at it. Pitching staff. All right, fine. Mm-hmm. I'll give you that pass because of the lineup. But then again, here's where we get into it. Trade deadline. You dropped the ball at the trade deadline 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I didn't.
2 years in a row.
I didn't even give him a chance for the pitching staff preseason. In fact, I said that the Nationals and Braves would make the playoffs instead of the Phillies, and I was so pissed that I got that right. I'm even more pissed that the Nationals are in the actual playoffs too.
And you can even go into the whole thing where you go, well, you know, maybe the Phillies didn't want to make a move for a part-time player. Okay,
no, they should have made a move. Go ahead.
Fine. Guess what? There were players out there that were worth something.
The Mets.
Yeah, exactly. You got a player, a pitcher there that you could have had for multiple years that is a talented player, and Marcus Stroman. And they didn't give up that much. But no, you know what? Why don't you give us your reject pitcher?
We took the aftermath from that trade.
Why don't you give us Drew Smiley? Why don't you give us your fifth pitcher that you don't want because we don't want to pay anything this year because we genuinely don't think we're good enough. That's what that says to your fan base. Now, they did trade for Corey Dickerson, who I love. Probably won't be back next year just because there's no place. I love him in this lineup, and I want him to have a place, but McCutchen should be coming back and should be playing left. You need to find a center fielder because I don't think Scott Kingery is really the answer out there.
Scott Kingery needs to play second base.
I think he does.
And you can hopefully trade maybe Cesar for a center fielder.
Maybe you have that.
You have to trade Cesar, though. It should have been, again, another move that Klentak had no foresight on making. He's done this a few times, and which is why I give that defense. Yeah, he had a decent offseason as far as building this lineup. That being said, he, throughout the offseason and going into this season, just completely ignored the entire pitching staff. And
yes,
even
Joe, you are
more
right.
than that.
They didn't sign Keuchel. Keuchel's free. You didn't think anything up for him. All you had to do is just money for a year. A 1 year deal.
All of Philadelphia. Normally Philadelphia can get mad about, you'll have somebody that just wants to be different. All of Philadelphia was mad when Dallas Keuchel signed that deal. $13 million, not even expensive.
Yes, Joe, he consistently bottoms out in the middle of the year and has great beginning and end of the year. That's consistently.
Yeah, Cesar is. He's average. He's a player. He's a perfect player for a Tampa Bay Rays or an Athletics, where they have a lineup and they need that cheap piece.
I'm not saying, but when I say that, by the way, Joe, I'm not saying that Cesar's a bad player. We can do better. We
have better. Kingery is an all-around better second baseman. Therefore, you can trade Cesar for another need, and there are several. And a savvy general manager should be able to find one with him. And should have done that at the trading deadline, to be honest. But again, it's overvaluing your own product. And part of that is Clentax Analytics, which could also, I think I saw Joe's point, which was he understands the Gabe defense and not Clentac, which is weird because I'm the other way around. But I'll play to that point. And if analytics and if Clentac had a bigger role on the lineup than maybe I think, then he 100% needs to go. And I still don't defend Gabe either. But yeah, I would be totally on board with that.
Well, because you look at it, you have...
Has Kingery proven he can hit consistently? He did bottom out.
He took a step forward though this year. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Saw what you needed to see.
He looked good, but he bottomed out toward the end. But so did the whole team, right? And again, he's got a built-in excuse, whether it be a good one or not. You can decide. But shifting around can kind of. He says it's taxing, which I don't like a player to admit that out loud. But he kind of was like, if he could at least just play the infield or the outfield, like it would be easier for him to prepare.
He jumps around a little too much. He does, for my taste.
That being said, I just think that
you got your super utility now bench player with Bamboo Brass.
If he were an everyday second baseman, for whatever this is worth, if he were an everyday second baseman throughout the start of this year, he would have been probably an all-star.
Probably.
But because his numbers didn't fit the outfield or third base or any of the positions that he was really playing, he didn't have a chance to make the All-Star. Now, is he an All-Star throughout this entire season? No. But since, for whatever, like I said, for whatever it's worth, the All-Star game happens in mid-season. And mid-season, I think, if you put his numbers up at the time against the other second baseman,
Joe, you can say that he finished leading the team in average as many times as you would like. I still will not care because Cesar Hernandez
with
is an
what,
average
70
player.
RBIs? Like he's
like a 7-8 hole hitter.
Yeah.
Who is going to do okay all year. That is his MO, that is what he is. I don't see him as a building block, and I have more pressing needs and a player who can slot in there, and Scott Kingery will play better sitting in one position for the year. I guarantee it. I will lock that in right now, 8:09 p.m., October 2nd, 2019. Scott Kingery will be a better player than Cesar Hernandez next year. No problem saying that.
Yeah, I agree. And not only that...
You're insane, Joe. You are absolutely insane. Cesar is better than Kingery.
Kingery's a better long-term fit. Even if you only want to look at batting average from this year, Kingery is still a better long-term fit. He's younger by a good amount. So, yeah, it's...
Listen, I'll put a sandwich on it, Joe. I will put a sandwich on it right now.
You know where you can get that sandwich, actually? Yeah. It's a good way for me to dive in before I forget about our homies at Fat Rocky Barbecue. I'm going to throw a little ad here in the middle of the show. Yeah, we put it on our Facebook. And look, these guys gave us... They might not be in the show now, but they're always in the show on the Facebook shows and everything. And they showed us, like, through the Eagles Super Bowl run, they no doubtly helped our numbers go into the thousands for view count. So I just wanted to show them a little bit of love. There's an event going down Saturday, October 12th, right in Warminster. Everything is up on our Facebook. You have to get tickets online. I talked to Jim, and that was the one thing. Jim from Fat Rocky Barbecue. Yeah, tickets must be bought online. And where we got? He didn't tell me how much it was. But yeah, it's gonna be good stuff. 5 free beers, plenty of barbecue, 20 teams cooking. You try everyone's stuff. So it's a barbecue event. And yeah, you could be a taster, you could be a cook, or you can be I don't know what a monolith is, but you know what a monolith is. Did I even pronounce that word right?
It's monolith. You said it right. Listen.
Killing it on the reading game today. But yeah, I also just killed my leg against the desk. Ouch.
Look, Joe, I won't get
I'm
not gonna get too much into
everything's on Facebook.com/WarRoomPhilly for that.
Yeah, so check that out. I'm not gonna get too much into tonight, but also Kingery played out of position because he's not a center fielder for the entire second
Yeah, this
half.
show is about finding a manager, not who's our better second baseman. We can talk about that. We have plenty of off season.
We do. We have plenty of off season to talk about the rest of this, because there's going to be an extensive search. There's going to be a lot going on.
Do you have any names in mind? I have.
I mentioned I like Joe Girardi. I like Joe Madden. I like the experience.
Still analytics guys.
They are still analytics guys.
Are you okay with that?
I'm plenty fine with analytics.
What I'm thinking is, because I hear this name thrown out a lot by people, they'll bash analytics and then they'll say, I want Joe Girardi or I want Joe Madden, and I'm like, you guys, psst. They're big into analytics, so I'm okay with either of them. I personally, I'm not the biggest Joe Madden fan, but hey, I probably would become one very fast if he's on my team.
Absolutely.
I like Ned Yost possibly from Kansas City.
Ned Yost is a good guy. I like him a lot.
I like that I'm drawing a blank right now. I've heard Carlos Beltran's name thrown around. Mark DeRosa. Those guys are a little bit out of the box. I've even heard Raul Ibanez thrown out by people.
Has been thrown out.
Raul, here's the thing. I love the name. We all know why we all love the name. Do you really want to go and get another front office person from the Dodgers? That's exactly what Gabe was. He was a front office person, not a manager.
I'll say this. I think that Raul has the right demeanor. I think he has the right demeanor. I don't want him, but I can understand the situation. You know what I mean? Because I think that he has that guy. He was always a professional in the dugout. He acted a certain way. He hustled every play. Almost hit that home run to get us back in the game in that playoff game. And that's what I'm saying. But I want somebody who has experience.
Yeah,
I said that before.
With you. I'm with Joe and Chad.
Like, I need somebody who has that already in their belt.
That's even why, like, DeRosa, Beltran, those guys, like, they're good names, but I need something, like, even Ned Yost, like, that's kind of, like, where I'd like to go.
Has won a World Series. Madden has won a World Series. I want that type of experience under, so when somebody goes, I don't want to do this, and he goes, that's great, I won a World Series, what have you done? I want that kind of a comeback in my manager's pocket to be able to be, because I have already said that there is a culture problem in our locker room at this point. Excuse me, not locker room, but clubhouse.
The same thing.
Same thing. There is a
I like
problem.
your like attention to detail though there. Sorry, I threw.
Absolutely. I think we need to change the culture. And it's funny that I'm saying this because we heard culture with Chip Kelly, but it's true. You do need to foster the right culture, and if you have somebody that's not willing to call you out or ever say anything's wrong, everything's just peachy, just dandy, that's an issue. So you need a general manager, you need a front office that's willing to have a manager that's going to be able to do that for you, because it is a group. You need that cohesiveness.
I have one candidate I'd like to throw out. Now, you might not necessarily have a ton of experience, but would you take a bench coach from the Astros?
I could take a bench coach.
Because Joe Espada.
Okay.
His name has been thrown out a lot as potential landing spot.
Winning culture, still somewhat new, but he has that experience of being around.
That's my one name I will throw into with, you might not be the sexy name, but I would be willing to try him. That being said, I'm pretty much all on board with getting someone with experience.
No first timers, Joe. Look at Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I don't want to make that. I hear your point. I really do, and I get it. And I'd prefer that, but I don't want to. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. So I don't want to just cast away a very good, a potential next just because just because of what Gabe did. But that being said, I would prefer. I would prefer my coach to have a little more experience, because I think what Joe he probably feels this way. With experience comes game sense, and that's really what we want. Analytics is cool, but we want game sense. We want old school and new school. We want both school, just like Charlie said.
Listen, Alex Cora was a new manager for the Red Sox. He didn't have managerial experience before he was on the Red Sox, and he won a World Series with them. So you can take those people. You can take those, instead of doing the retreads. It's not always the thing. But, that all being said, do we have anything else baseball-wise we want to talk about? Because we've gone 45 minutes in this show. And we haven't talked about Flyers, which we're still going to get to.
Look, to baseball's credit, I think we should have taken a good amount of time on it. That being said, there is hockey to talk about, and we still have a football game on Sunday. So yeah, I would like to. We can continue the playoffs, and we'll continue potentially this managerial talk into next week.
Absolutely.
I think by next week we'll know one way or another, though, the fate of our managerial staff and front office, because you don't have to say he's fired and hire a guy immediately. I don't know if that's what Middleton is trying to do, but that doesn't you're allowed to have a break in between. That doesn't make you look bad. So yeah. That's fun. We'll allow it. Joe. But yeah, the Flyers. Yeah, they did lose to a Swiss team. I watched that game too. That was on Monday, so I was homesick, a little hungover from the Overwatch League on Monday. So yeah, they lost to a Swiss team. That's embarrassing. I don't care that it's playoffs. It's embarrassing, and it's not a good start
to preseason, not playoffs.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's what you meant.
Yeah. I know it's preseason.
That's what was that? Losing to Florida State.
Mm-hmm. The Phillies did that, right?
I think they did. That's you can't do that. It's not good.
So
that should give you pretty good expectations of what could happen this year.
Yeah. And what are your expectations for the Flyers this year, Keith?
Look, I just want them to make the playoffs.
And what are, maybe even while you're at it, if you want to throw in an NHL Cup preview or anything?
So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Flyers.
We can spread it all out.
I'm looking for the Flyers to make the 6 to 8 seed this year. It's a very good division. We talked a little bit about this before we began the show, so I have some hope. I mean, when I say 6 to 8, I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying they made some improvements this year. You have Carter Hart, who should take a step forward. Joe thinks he should win the Vezina. I like that idea. You have...
That's way too much pressure to put on someone in essentially his first full season. He's not even going to start probably enough games to qualify for that. Look, Vezina should not be... if you think that he...
you can think that he will, but it shouldn't be You shouldn't be disappointed if he doesn't.
That's an absurd statement.
Listen... But that being said, listen, Carter Hart should take a step forward this year at the very least. You should.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
You already saw that he has that huge potential.
He'll become an actual starting goalie at some point throughout this season, which I'm very much looking forward to. But that's why he's not going to win a Vezina this year, is because he's still not going to just be thrown. He's going to split time at least early with Ryan Elliott.
You did make improvements.
Not that makes me happy.
And you did make improvements to your blue line. You got rid of Andrew McDonald. That's a huge improvement.
Yeah, you got rid of Gudis too, which I think is an improvement.
And as much as I have my issues with what they did back there, you still saw the people that were added were big names. You have Justin Braun who was added. You have his name just dropped out of my head because why would I ever have to do it?
Kevin Haynes?
No, I was going to go defense, but Kevin Hayes, yes, he's also going to be there. Niskanen, Matt Niskanen, he was added, and they're two veteran players that should settle things down. Provorov, locked up long term. Sanheim should take a step forward. Gostisbehere hopefully has a rebound year, and of course you have Hag, who is a hard-hitting guy. Your defense should overall be a better situation than it was last year. That's what I'm looking at. So I have positivity there. Your offensive players, your depth and forward has increased. You have Kevin Hayes, who you got there, who's probably going to sit on the top line with Giroux and Voracek, which means then you have talent on the side of Couturier still with Konechny and Lindblom, who actually was looking very good and has looked good so far as well. And then third line,
20-goal scorer this year, I think.
I like that. I like that for Lindblom.
At least.
He has the
At
talent.
least.
He has the talent too.
If he can stay on that second line, I think that produces at least 20 goals.
I think that second line is going to be big for you this year. Then, of course, rounding out your third line with Lawton, you have Reamsdyke and Farabee. Farabee's look good.
Joe, I can get behind that comment. The JVR 35 goals.
I can see that too.
I can get behind that.
I can see that too.
When we signed JVR, I tried all summer to talk about the Flyers because I was very excited about that signing. It disappointed me a little bit last year, but he showed great signs also once he bounced back.
Yeah, once he
towards the end of the year,
yeah,
he came on
huge.
strong, and that's why we signed him, was for those goals.
So now you're looking at some depth, and of course, by the way, we're looking at the situation, and we can't forget that Tyler Pitlick, who we traded for this offseason, who's going to be on this team, he is out currently. He's going to be out for I think 4 weeks with his wrist surgery. Maybe it was longer than that, but I believe that's what it is. And you have Nolan Patrick, who once he is healthy, he's dealing with a migraine issue. I think he's going to take a big step forward as well. And that's a lot of talent over your 4 lines, which is a lot of positivity for you to have for the Flyers to take a step forward and be a playoff team this year.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the Flyers have a shot to win a wild card this year. And I don't mean that as a smite.
No, exactly.
The Metropolitan Division is damn good.
It is.
If we want to read through the names, we can. They're damn good, though. The Bruins are good.
Well,
the Sabres suck. Red Wings kind of suck. The Panthers are everyone's pick for a sleeper this year. The Canadians, we all know about them. And then, yeah, you have the Lightning and the Leafs.
Leafs, who both look very good.
Like the Lightning and
Leafs. That's all the Atlantic. So coming out
spoiler
of the
alert,
East,
are both going to be picks of ours for the Stanley Cup in one way or another. I'm not going to give away who's picking what, when, or how, but we both can see big things for
even
those
in our own
teams.
division,
So
the Capitals,
just,
the Penguins.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm dumb. I was reading the wrong
it's
division
fine.
now.
No, but that's good.
But that's still the talent you're going to be going up against in the East in general. But for the Metropolitan Division,
Capitals, Penguins,
so we can get into the right division.
Devils are a big, dark horse team. Blue Jackets, it could be somebody in the Hurricanes that have been good. There's
the East
a lot
is
of
tough.
talent. I mean,
for the first time in a while, it's shifted in a bunch of sports.
It has.
It's not there quite yet in basketball, but it's balancing. But for a while, sports was very Western Conference, West Coast dominated, and it's shifting, which is cool. And it brings East Coast rivalries, and it makes them have more intensity.
And
but
yes, Joe, anything is possible, especially in hockey. You are correct. They could catch just that lightning in a bottle at the end of the year. Because the Lightning go into a bottle at the end of the year.
Again, when I say the Flyers can make a wild card, that I'm not saying that ends the run or anything either. This is more regular season talk while we're getting into it. But yeah, talking about this division, Hurricanes, Blue Jackets are
like I said, you don't know.
I guess the Hurricanes are a bit of a but they caught on some fire last year. The Devils, again, another sleeper team. They got Wayne Simmons, obviously, but they've added some good players. They still have Nico Heischman. So yeah, there's some. I put a little too much into it there, didn't I?
Like it though.
Heischman, I went German. He's not German, but So and then of course you have the Penguins and Capitals. So 3 teams automatically get in from
Capitals are playing tonight. Blues versus Caps.
So it's gonna be tough. I kind of have, for my 3 teams coming out for the Metropolitan, it's not gonna make me happy, but I have Penguins, Capitals, and Devils, and I hope I'm trying to do what I did for the Phillies, and I'm predicting this, hoping I'm wrong, and that I was right, unfortunately. So maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But yeah, I still think that the Flyers are but again, I do see the chance for a wild card in strong contention, and then if the right players are hot, you never know what happens. So yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm really hoping that my feelings are wrong on guys like Kevin Hayes, and I hope that they are the goal scorers that they can be. But
I think he will.
But what I need to do is I need to see it before I can comfortably put my analyst hat on and predict it. As a fan, I am very excited for this season. It's the most excited I've been for a hockey season in quite some time, which also sets me up for disappointment, which is not good. But nonetheless, I see good goaltending. I see a sound, structured defense in front of him, and if the forwards can do their job at the front and in both sides of the rink, I do think that this Flyers can make the playoffs and do damage.
Get really excited when Nolan Patrick comes back because he goes to that third line center, which means he's centering JVR there. Him and JVR together are going to be money.
And for whatever it's worth, it's a disappointment that both of them are at the third line. Let's hope that by the end of the season they're up even higher. For whatever.
I mean, it's gonna be tough.
Obviously it's crowded, but
when you go 1 through 3, it's kind of like a fluid situation because of the talent you have, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing.
Yeah. I guess in Patrick's case as a center, it would be hard. But if you put Couturier at the, if maybe Hayes isn't working out at some point, it could, you know what I mean? It could flop around.
Like I said, it's a fluid situation.
But again, I think the Flyers have, for the first time, a little bit of versatility through 1 through 3, but they still don't have, I'm going to flip through, go to Colorado's line combinations. Yeah. And then you look at Gabriel Landeskog, Nathan McKinnon, and Mikko Rantanen. And you're like, that first line is just, I started to
Second line's pretty good too.
Yeah, it is.
Kadri, Bukarovsky, and Jost.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little itchy to think about it.
And if I can kind of transition forward into some NHL talk, and we can still talk Flyers. These combinations. This is what I'm looking for.
Well, because,
it might
Colorado is what?
Might
be 5th overall odds there at 12 to 1.
Should I head down to the casino?
Maybe.
Because
you have $3.5 million to drop on that, right?
I got $3.5.
There you go.
I'm gonna go out on a ledge a little bit, but I do think the Avalanche. I know it's kind of bold, but I really like them to come on hot late in this year, and I think they're gonna be a really good hockey team this year. I like the Avalanche to win the cup. I like them to win it over Toronto, who I think finally come in and just gel completely as a team. I think that it's gonna be a really refreshing Stanley Cup to see those two teams in it. But unfortunately, I don't see the Flyers there yet. But I really, again, for the first time in a few years, I think I'm starting to get excited for the Flyers. And I think that if certain things go right for this organization, if it's not this year, it's going to be next year that they're in.
Absolutely.
And mid-seed contenders and starting to hopefully get towards what ultimately I've been wanting for a long time, is to not compete for this wild card and to compete for a 1 seed
division.
And that's when it's going to be that's when you start talking cup.
Absolutely.
And hey, the one thing that hockey has is anybody can win it if you get in.
Absolutely.
Which
we saw that
which is the best last time. The best thing about the NHL playoffs, by the way. Which are ultimately, in my opinion, bang for the buck, the best playoffs. The game level is so much more intensified in the playoffs as opposed to regular season.
Absolutely, the playoffs are hockey playoffs, hands down, are the most exciting.
They're just intense.
All
7-game series. It's not like baseball where they do the dumbass 1-game playoff and the best.
And it's always intense.
You play this super long season to speed through the playoffs. It's so stupid. It's so bass-backwards. And at least hockey does that the best way possible.
And to give my picks, I'm going to go with the Vegas Golden Knights winning it over. Can't believe I'm going to do this again, because every year I seem to be picking them, and every year they fall on their face.
You did.
But the Tampa Bay Lightning.
You're going with my San Jose Sharks. That's what I did for I think I
should know better by now. I really should.
I think every year that Greg and I did the show together, I picked the San Jose Sharks to win, or at least get to the cup, if not win it. And every year I was wrong.
Well,
So just keep. You got to get it right eventually. Right?
Every year, we got to talk about Bobby Ryan too.
Yeah. One more shout out to Bobby Ryan.
But yeah. So and yes, Joe, not to.
Is he still in Ottawa? What's Bobby Ryan up to this season?
As you looked at it, not to overshadow or forget about what the biggest improvement might be. Alain Vigneault, coming in as the coach of the Flyers this year. It's a big change. It's a big move. Getting Hackstall out of town, going ahead and seeing that we have an experienced coach behind the bench that can garner some respect, that's done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Is he still in Ottawa?
Yeah. No, are we due for rain? I thought I saw a flash of lightning outside.
There were some
That's
clouds and
if
stuff.
anyone's like looking at me where I'm like, why am I so... There was either a ghost or I saw a crazy flash, and I don't know if I don't know.
When he says crazy flash, I mean somebody running by going,
Ah! It was the tattooed guy.
Ah! The tattoo. Did you see? No, I did not. No, did you see the there's a GoFundMe for him?
No, I actually didn't. So this is genuine. No,
there's a GoFundMe out there for those who also don't know to help him finish his tattoos.
Oh yeah,
because he's got quite a bit, and he's got quite a bit of a canvas to work with.
So that I was gonna say, what do you mean by finish? So you just mean like expand on?
There were some that were not filled in and things
okay.
like that, and I think he talked about wanting more and have it as a mural to Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
cool.
To
be able to finish that, so there's money being raised, and he actually is going to use his tattoos as like a way to fundraise for kids. I think there was a certain charity. I think there was a certain charity. I can't remember which one it was, but he's going to try to use his newfound fame to do that.
That's you know, it's funny. You changed my complete attitude to where not like attitude, but I was gonna be like, isn't it funny what we can raise money for? But then it's like, isn't it really cool how we can raise money?
I think he was like, I like the fact that we're doing this, but also there are better things to spend money on.
Yeah, and also don't judge a book by its cover, right? Because I'm sure people saw that guy and had immediate judgments.
The Philadelphia judgment?
Yeah, and then when I mean outsiders when I say
that.
Yeah. Like, so yeah, it's just one more thing where, like, that's Philadelphia. We're rough and tough, but at the end of the day, we're all sweethearts. And we just want to intimidate you.
You are a sweetheart.
Maybe not me, but yeah, no, I do agree with I think the coach is a big improvement. Are we now that the dust is settled? Can I ask the question, Quenneville or Vignon?
I still would have preferred Quenneville.
Me too. I'm okay. I'm glad that if you were to have been like, nah, I'm like, oh man, am I a bad guy?
No, I mean I think we all just
because that's part of the reason why people are picking the Panthers.
Yeah,
to be a sleeper team.
Well, because they got
Quenneville all day. Even Joe agrees with that. Okay.
Well, they got young talent and they got a great coach. I mean, you can't go against that. I mean, it's preferred, but at the same time, you know, Vignon he's a nice consolation prize.
Yeah,
if you would. So I'm not upset.
Yeah. Again, I said now that I felt like we could answer that level-headedly at this point. We're all excited for the season, but yeah, right before you got here, I had NHL Live on and I was watching. And I saw him skating, and I was like, kind of just would have liked that, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I do, you know, I like I said, I've reiterated it many times. It's the most positive I've felt going into the Flyers. I was excited when JVR got here, but I don't think I was as overall positive about the team. I was just really excited for the move, as far as I thought it was going to bring. Like I thought it was the best move of the offseason that year.
Say what you want about Fletch, but he has made moves.
Yeah,
he's made maybe not the moves we've wanted.
Yes,
but he's made moves.
He totally restructured that defense.
He restructured the
defense. He didn't revamp them, or he restructured them. I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Well, he added he secured it instead of being like all young guys that are going to have to try to feel their way. He was like, all right, well, we're going to bring in these experienced guys and they're going to do it. So. I think that's going to be a big part of it. I think that we're going to see a very nice year out of them. I am positive overall.
I really like our defensive core. I think it's a beautiful blend of youth and vets.
I think both Provy and
I hope I don't eat those
are going to have fantastic years.
I think Ghost is due for a bounce back.
I agree.
I'm a big Ghost fan though. And again, I hope I don't eat those.
So good they did not trade Ghost this offseason because it looked like he was going to.
And I'm going to if you would have traded Ghost this offseason, it would be a lot, and it's probably the same people who were suggesting to trade Reese currently. Maybe even if you subscribe to that, you want to do it not now when it would have been at their lowest. You want to do it, you know, hopefully, like if you're going to, like say you want to trade Ghost for offense, which I, depending on the offensive player, could you know, think about. Then
top 3 player.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not throwing them away by all means, but it's something I would think about. It's something I would humor. But you're not going to get that kind of return now for him, so you might as well keep him.
That's how I feel.
But again, if he starts to show a little bit of life, and if you think you have more down below, because the Flyers are deep, they're deep. They have depth organizationally. They're deep, or like throughout the organization defensively. I went Sergei. I went Bobrovsky. They have deep.
But you did put your big boy words.
Ghost will get 20. Yeah, and I think he'll get at least close to. He doesn't have to score goals if he can play sound defense too. Let's make that clear. But if he's screwing up defensively, then yeah, he better be putting the puck in the net.
I think he'll do both. I think he's going to settle down this year, and he is talented in the offensive end of the rink. So I think it's going to be nice.
I think it'll be his most well-rounded professional season. It might not be the Ghost that popped onto the season with all the emojis and this and that, but I think that it'll be his most well-rounded season as a pro. And again, that could be the fan in me speaking, but I've always liked his game, and I've always thought his mistakes were coachable.
Absolutely, so there's a lot of players that can rebound. There's players that can keep consistent. There's new people that will be coming in. They'll be adding some different touches to the team. So overall, hockey season's back, and I'm stoked.
Yeah, me too. And then it's like we got hockey for a little bit. Basketball's gonna be coming back. We got playoff baseball right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, and by the way, we gotta kind of cut it a little short today because we're already at 8:30. But we got an Eagles game.
We got an Eagles game Sunday. It was nice to see what they did this past Sunday. They ran the ball. Granted, the defense dictated that, given that the Packers were 26th against the run all year. Mm-hmm. You saw them run for, I believe it was 173 yards. Jordan Howard to the tune of, I think, 15 carries, 87 yards. So you saw Miles Sanders chip in 70-something yards, best career so far as a pro. Carson Wentz, even though he didn't have to throw much, he threw for like 160 yards or something like that, and I actually have that right here. It's 160 on the button. 16 for 27 right there, 3 touchdowns. Jordan Howard caught one of those. It was nice to see overall the team, even though we're getting unhealthy on the corner situation, we're getting healthier otherwise.
Vastly unhealthy at the corner situation.
Yeah, and that is the only concern, which we will get to, I'm sure, in a second. But
you don't even get to sniff Jalen Mills or Cravon LeBlanc until like week 6 or 8. What is it?
So pup list, they can come back in game 7. So Jalen Mills can come back in week 7. Cravon LeBlanc, who I think is IR designated to return, if I'm not mistaken, he's not till like week 8 or 9 at that point. So that's when you're going to get them back. Sidney Jones is a coin flip every week.
I thought you were going to call him Sidney Joints. Would have been so fitting.
It is, but he is a coin flip every week because of that. I mean, he always has a hamstring issue. Always has a hammies.
Isn't that like? Look, I feel for a player. I really do. I'm not. This isn't me bashing him as a person or anything. As a fan, isn't that the most annoying thing? Isn't like that's why I got down on Mac Hollins, who is showing more and more signs. But that's why, like, I've been down on him. I've been down on Clement. I've been down because
you get banged up constantly.
Yeah,
we can't count on you. And
I just want
the best ability is availability.
I just want to see you out there, man. Like, but by no means, I don't mean this as like a diss. I just want to see you out there and as a fan, and then as, maybe a little bit more of like the general manager thought is just like, I don't have time for you. Like,
but seeing Alshon back out there, seeing Goddard back out there, looks like Deshaun might be back this week.
Really? Did you?
I didn't hear anything, but generally speaking, when a player is allowed to go and do what they want after a game kind of thing, because they had that mini bye week. He went to LA. That's usually a pretty good sign that you're getting healthy, or at least close to it.
But do you know if he practiced today?
I didn't.
I'm going to look it up right now for us.
I meant to check that before I got here, and much like Nelson Aguilar, I dropped the ball.
Yeah, we all do every now and then. just like I did at the beginning of the show. But I'll
so
find it.
it's definitely been one of those things that everybody's getting healthier by the week, and we're going to see more contributions in our offense. And when that happens, that'll help our defense, because I feel like when we are fully healthy, nobody's going to be able to keep up with us. That's how I feel. No, he hasn't a practice. Pot's chiming in.
Oh, nice. Thank you. That's Nick. If I'm starting to remember all of our Twitch names. But yeah. That's what I was just getting ready to. I'm like, now that we got it anyways, is this the most
There's
up-to-date
the
one? So our
Wednesday
this is
injury
our
report.
practice. Yeah, our like injury.
I would say, so we're going to pull that up, because there were two names that popped up in the injury report as they cheer for it, which was Derek Barnett, who had that groin issue.
Just gonna get up in
that
here.
popped up.
Ronald Darby hamstring, did not participate. Alex Ellis did not, tight end, never heard of him, didn't participate. Deshaun Jackson, abdomen. And here's the thing about the Ejax, we haven't really gotten to talk about it. Man, I really hope, but I sense sports hernia.
Yeah, I mean,
which
at this
comes
point,
either having to play through it or
3 weeks. You'd be halfway through your recovery process if you just gotten the surgery to start with.
Yeah, it's just
that's how I feel.
And again, it was. I know I kind of played two signs of it here, but when Deshaun Jackson first got here or was signed, my immediate reaction, my analyst reaction was, man, he misses games, but hopefully I'll take it now rather than later. That's what I will say. If he's there in the playoffs, I'll take it. But that's the other side of the coin of bringing a player back of his age. That being said, we all saw how good he looks still. So yeah, it's I know I hate playing both sides of it, but like, cause I'm such a Djax fan, I get giddy talking about him. But analytically, there's some faults there. But yeah, he's not in. Jernigan, obviously. Yeah. Jason Kelsey did not participate.
His wife is like 99% pregnant at this point. Like she's ready, like she's ready to burst.
She's ready to evolve.
Yeah, basically, like she's ready. Like she's like that close to giving birth, so it could have been something involving that. Like,
so that's cool. It's it's good luck to her and everything. Vontae Maddox did not participate.
I shouldn't say 99% pregnant. I mean 99% ready to give birth.
No, that's not.
She's 100% pregnant. That is without a doubt that she's pregnant.
For some reason, though, that made so much sense.
Yeah,
it made perfect sense. But
attention to detail.
Tarek Barnett and Sidney Jones again. Just the other two that are popped up.
I'm not, even with all of that, and maybe I'm cocky here. Are you concerned about the Jets? I'm not concerned about the Jets. I shouldn't say I'm dismissing the Jets, but they haven't scored an offensive touchdown since Sam Darnold was playing in Week 1.
Yeah, so
they have Luke Falk, who is a 6th round. Yeah, exactly. Who the Falk is he?
That was something I'd expect me to say.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But he is that guy. He is a 2018 6th-round pick that has been on now 3 teams. He was plucked off a practice squad because Trevor Siemian broke his ankle, I think. I think their backup was Trevor Siemian. That I'm 100% sure about. But I believe he broke his ankle is how he ended up out. So you're sitting there. Darnold is practicing without contact, Joe. So that was also a much different team with Joe Webb. I'm not going to get into that. But Darnold is playing without contact. His spleen is still apparently enlarged.
Yeah, the decision will come down on Sunday.
I don't see how you're not practicing because they're concerned about your spleen and going, you know what? Play against the other team. Like, I don't see that.
Here's what I'll say about it. Am I concerned about the Jets? No, I don't need to be concerned about the Jets. But I damn sure hope every one of those 53 players are concerned with the Jets. They do have Le'Veon Bell, who is lethal. So let's not ignore that.
They have him.
And exactly, then Joe just says Bell could go up. Exactly. That being all said, I don't think that this franchise in this spot, this team, I should say, lose this game. it might not be a 20-point victory. It might not look pretty. It might be close because the Eagles do that kind of thing.
If I'm gonna, it's like a 14-point spread, and I can see the Jets covering that.
Yeah, I just again because they lost to the Lions gives me more hope that they'll win this game because they know that they need to be more prepped for it. And again, the Lions loss is that what
I'm about to get into the Lions are not as bad as we think they are.
And again, let's remember what happened at the beginning of that Lions game too. So, you know, we were missing some people, which isn't an excuse when you look at how the game was played out. I do agree with that.
Kansas City
the Lions
almost got
the Lions are a playoff team. The Lions are a Super Bowl contender compared to the Jets. Let's just go with that.
There is a good chance that the Lions are going to compete for the division this year at this point because they really are.
We've never lost to the Jets before. That's a good point, Nick.
You know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
They are a solid team. Yeah, absolutely. No, Fitzpatrick can go off. Nobody could think he could do it. Yes, there are chances, but they had more talent on that side of the ball. Because you had Mike Evans, you had Deshaun Jackson, you had a third wide receiver in Godwin, who's a solid wide receiver as well. You had that kind of a situation where you had players on the defense who were good players on the defense. Now, the Jets do have a good defense. Well, they have a better defense than people will give them credit because Quinnen Williams, who might be their best player as far as on the defensive line, he should be back this week. C.J. Mosley, their linebacker, should still be out, although he is also kind of a game-time decision. He's been banged up all year. They have talent on the defensive side of the ball, so if you are going to say something, I mean, they've had 3 defensive touchdowns, so you have to watch for things like fumbleitis from, God, I hope he doesn't touch the ball, but Nelson Aguilar.
No, he can touch the ball.
He didn't touch it once. And I was so happy.
It was a good. We put him in timeout. But yeah. And for the record, Joe, because I know you were waiting. I hope you saw my tweet when Alshon Jeffrey dropped that ball in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. Should have had that one.
Should have had it.
Should have had that one.
Should have had it.
I got on him for you, Joe. Got on him for you.
Alshon is good to see him back, but he did look a little slow.
He was fighting, and that being said, still had 3 catches and a touchdown. But he had 2 drops that game, and then one was like a little on Wentz, a little on him. But he did have 2 drops, but that's because Joe wished it into the air. Wishes it on his own team. But as soon as it happened, I had texts from people that, Joe, I hope you know this. I'm going to inflate Joe's ego just once here. When it happened, when Alshon Jeffrey dropped that ball, I had texts from people watching the show being like, I bet that dude in chat is going nuts right now. I just want you to know, like, you're developing your own sort of fame throughout this show. But yeah, that was that one was cracking me up.
But do I see the Eagles losing this game to kind of go back? No, I don't. I really don't. It's just
look as fans and analysts. How would you like? We can't sit here and be like, oh, well, of course anything can happen.
Even with the secondary as it is, because you're going to have starting for the Eagles secondary.
Are you starting this week?
You might as well at this point because you have all right, sure, cool. We have Rasul Douglas who can hold his own out there. Okay.
Craig James,
who played last week.
MVP last week, man, who came in for one play
got
good
very good pass interference that didn't get called.
Swat!
Orlando Scandrick.
No call! We're going to be getting a lot of that soon.
Well, yeah, exactly. Orlando Scandrick, who you brought off the street after you checked him onto the street. Maybe me. I would say you, but that's not. You're not exactly known for your wheels.
I'm more of a defensive tackle, maybe at this point.
Fullback.
Yeah.
Fullback.
That's I'm the new Tim Tebow.
So you got that happening. You have the Jalen Ramsey saga continuing, where he's not going anywhere for now. So
yeah, and
Chris Harris is another name that's been thrown out there because the Broncos are 0-4 at this point.
You know what's funny, Keith? And you off the air at least know this a little bit more than me, or than most. I mean, is So today I was gonna text you and be like, so for the show today, since the Ramsey thing doesn't look good, I want to like maybe look into other like cornerbacks. Lo and behold, 2 o'clock comes on. Mike Missinelli hops on. That's his. I'm like, well, now it's a different show topic because I'm not gonna. But you know how I'm like, I feel like this weird connection sometimes. But I digress.
But he's a name that's been floated out there. I mean, Patrick Peterson's been floated out there because as long as the Cardinals are going to do bad, you're going to hear Patrick Peterson's name floated out to the Eagles because for whatever reason, the Eagles just always.
Yeah, Peterson's like he's way past 30, right? Chris Webb is at least just 30.
Chris Harris is at 30.
Did I say Chris Webb?
You did say Chris Webb, because I think you're thinking basketball and Chris Webber. But no, Patrick Peterson I think is 30 as well. I don't think he's too much. Yeah.
Patrick Peterson, Eagles. Like, no, I want Patrick Peterson.
29. So he's just been around.
Even better. Okay.
He's just been around a while. That's the thing. So like he is also in that kind of a thing. And listen, if you want to give me Patrick Peterson, I'm in for Patrick Peterson.
I don't want to make this sound too, but like anything helps.
Absolutely.
Right now, right? So don't get me Vargas, but anything helps.
That's Xavier Howard is who you're talking about.
Don't get me Drew Smiley. Yeah. But anything helps, you know what I mean?
Joe was saying I'd love that dude on Miami. I think that's Xavier Howard is his name.
Yeah. Miami is like another team that's
but
like
they've said they don't want to trade him because he's a building block. So I'm sure he's thrilled about that.
By the way, shout out to Jay Ziggy and Chantasy. Thank you for compliments. But yeah.
Listen, I love all those names. I mean, at this point, like I will take a
What
second
about
stringer.
what about this shirt, Jay Ziggy? You're the one that provided this and this gut. No, that's all me.
Believe that fat and happy.
I just saw me like doing this, and I was like, look at this gut, and I'm just showing off.
You're just touching yourself. It just feels so good.
Yeah, it's just a intimate moment between my girlfriend and I that I like to show off in between everybody. I digress. As I did, it's like myself.
Got real weird.
Getting on to like an hour and a half show. I mean, I guess we're making up for last week, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, I don't want. These are my notes from last week. There's no need to go back to last week at this point. This week, Bomb Player of the Week, Keith. You want any predictions, anything like that? Neither of us thought about it until right now. I can tell from both of our.
No,
faces.
I've been thinking about it. I actually have been thinking about
Miles
this.
Sanders, Bomb Player of the Week from Joe.
It's a good call. It's a good call.
I would love to see that.
I'm a little upset he said it because I was thinking about saying it, but now
you can still say it.
No,
I can't agree with Joe. No,
because I just like to be different.
I'm just messing with
I don't think I've said it yet, so I'm gonna go Zach Ertz.
Zach
I'm
Ertz?
gonna Zach Ertz because I don't think that the Jets are gonna have the answer for him over the middle of the field.
Yeah. Who should I pick, chat? I don't even know. Mac Hollins? No, I'm just kidding.
You go easy mode and just go with Wentz.
No, I picked Wentz. I picked him last week. Unfortunately, I used it up early, and I think it was kind of right. But ultimately, Jordan Howard.
Yeah, Jordan Howard. Actually, ultimately, the offensive line. If we're really gonna
Aguilar, Joe wants me to pick. I picked Aguilar already this season, actually too. So I can't use. Not that I can't. But we like to if I feel like Aguilar later in the season, I might pick him up again. But I don't want to. We try to like split it up. It's like a faux suicide pool, right?
Yeah.
Like is that like a decent way to think about it? Like Dallas Goedert, that's a good one. I like Dallas Goedert for a few reasons too, actually, and that would be good just to compete with Keith. Like, oh, you take Ertz, I'll go Goddard.
We'll be sitting there this Sunday, both next to each other. Ah!
None of us are thinking defense, though. It sounds like, which is weird because
Pop with Alshon with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. I would look it for my fantasy team.
I would like that too.
Feel like this is a blowout. Joe didn't all show. He was saying how much we could lose, and now you feel like it's. Oh my god, I love it.
He's got Alshon on his fantasy team too, so he's feeling good about that.
No, it could be Alshon. I kind of like Alshon. I like Goddard. I'll go Goddard just to go opposite of you. Right. We'll get interesting. We'll see. We'll take a bet at the tight ends here. Who gets the touchdown? One of them gonna get a touchdown, right? So yeah.
We'll be watching there.
Wentz is out by the third quarter. That'd be nice, actually. A little load management. See McCown in the big lead.
Get a couple people out. You know?
That'd be fantastic, actually. I want to use my words carefully, but I wouldn't mind me seeing some McCown as a closer in a good situation there. To make sure I get that statement all out in the right way.
Hello? Oh, yes. Yes, Philadelphia Eagles. I can make it there Sunday. I can play.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna be playing the fourth quarter because they won't.
Aguilar couldn't catch baby. He was thrown out the window. Yeah, that dude. I know it's a couple weeks old now, but that's legend. Like,
Did you? By the way,
you were just a hero not 5 seconds ago or whatever, and then you have the wherewithal to throw shade at an Eagles wide receiver like.
We were catching babies out the window out here.
On my Aguilar. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Did you hear the next level thing that happened with that, by the way?
With Aguilar's response?
After that.
No, God.
So Aguilar throws that out there. That, you know what? Hey, listen, get me in contact with him. I'd like to get him to.
Which is awesome. That's a character move, that Nelson Aguilar, by the way.
The guy, they find the guy. And they go, hey, did you hear that Nelson Aguilar wants to bring you to the game? And he goes, yeah, I heard. That's it. That's it.
Yo, like, character or not, you gotta go to that game. Like, if you're really an Eagles fan, you take those tickets. Like, and you wear an Aguilar jersey to the damn game too. Like, if
he extended to him and his family.
That's me in that situation. That's what I do, and we all know how what my opinions have been with Aguilar.
I thought that was hilarious, though, that he was like, yeah, I heard, whatever.
But that just goes to show you, I can sell out real fast. By the way, Coca-Cola, not sponsored. But yeah, no. I kid. No. We knew it was tongue in cheek. That's Russ in chat if I'm not mistaken. And his cock's still not 100%. Was he on that list?
He was with the.
He's not. He wasn't on the injury.
But he,
which means he's practicing fully. But is he 100%?
What's 100% in the NFL?
Yeah, I guess that's a good question.
You know what I mean?
That's a retort. I want to use other words in front of it, but no, you're right. No one's 100. But to answer your question, Nick, I don't think so. I haven't seen not a full game of Fletcher Cox. And then now
Jason Peters stayed in the whole time.
I want to believe it was a savvy veteran move, but he did go down in that game. Came back in. Like I said, it felt at the time like it was a savvy veteran move. He was buying a timeout that he knew he didn't have. But that being said, I haven't... Look, we haven't seen... We need to see a higher level play. Whether he's getting double, triple teamed, like, the best still do it. Darnold still gets it done. He needs to step up his game. If health is a factor, so be it. But when he gets healthy, he needs to.
I agree.
We need this. We need a penetrating Cox.
We did finally get a sack from the defensive line.
Yeah. We had the reverse strip sack.
We did.
That was
which was nice. So we got a turnover.
The defense. Did you get the feel of the 2017-18 Super Bowl winning defense out of that
Not
game?
A good defense, but gets it done when you need it.
Right?
But I mean, because Bradham gets that interception to close it out.
You get the strip sack, you get the interception, you got key turnovers, some special teams play. That felt very similar to the Super Bowl year. Like okay, I don't have confidence in this defense, but somehow I know they're gonna come out with a W. Okay, I have confidence that they'll be mediocre but show up when it counts or something. Like it's weird.
In the second half, I started getting that vibe.
But that's a good thing. Yeah, is what I'm what I'm trying to get at is if we can start seeing, all right, maybe we don't have the best defense, but they're gonna start playing hungry. They're gonna be They're gonna start going after ball hawks.
They don't like being told that they're not good enough.
They're gonna start getting at the quarterback, and hey, if we can't get him down, we'll get the ball out of his hands. Oh yeah, that gets me excited. Because that's, to me, the best thing a defense can do is get that ball back. And yeah, again, that's it. Intercept Aaron Rodgers in that situation, that's huge.
Yeah.
At Lambeau.
That's
huge. That gets me thinking that there's some mojo going throughout that locker room. That's all. I don't like to get, that's it.
That's
I kind of fanboy out every now and then. That's me fanboying out. I got a little Peter tingle when it came to the defense that night. When I saw that interception, and Jay-Z, I'm so sorry for waking you up. I started screaming at the top of my lungs when they got it. It felt like the Super Bowl year, and hopefully it continues to feel that way. Which, by the way, I did predict the Eagles to go to and win the Super Bowl this year.
You did?
First time I've ever picked my own team to do that going into the season. So, feels good, man. Let's get it. Any other final thoughts? I've been watching clips. He's just getting a bit overpowered. Who are we talking? Was that Cox? Yeah. Again, whether he's healthy or not, he needs to start playing better. Like we gotta see some more out of him. So hopefully, health isn't playing a factor, and he can just he's over that that factor at this point.
My final thought would be go Flyers, go Eagles, and go AL.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, guys, thank you all for tuning in, hanging in for a really long show. Like, you guys are all still here. What the
really
hell?
Cool. Thank you guys for
get some lives. What are you doing? No, I appreciate the hell out of it. That means
love the active
ton.
chat today. Seriously.
The fact that we're going over an hour and a half now, and you're still, you guys want more. Like, and it's like if both of us didn't have to wake up for our poopy jobs in the morning, we'd stay here. We'd talk all night. We'd talk all night. Trust us. So we do. We really appreciate it. And stay tuned on Facebook. There, we could get you some Eagles stuff this weekend. If not, we'll obviously be chatting away, through chat. But yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. With that, I'm Anthony Pinto.
I'm Keith Malashevsky.
And we are out of here.